G'day viewers and welcome to Blokesworld. This is the final day of our 5-day dirt bike adventure with lucky bastard motorcycle tours through the Central Highlands of Vietnam. Today we're heading down from the hills to the beach at Nha Trang, and we'll be showing you a few things that we did in Saigon as well. Or, you know, Ho Chi Minh City, depending on your point of view.
Blokesworld! Blokesworld!
Well, today was day 5 and we left the city of Bun Ma Thuc City, and we're making our way down the hills, down to the coastline to a fantastic place called Doc Let. But the day started off, we just jumped in the bikes and made our way out of Bun Ma Thuc City. I wasn't too sure how big the city of Bun Ma Thuc City was, but the actual province must be massive, because when we left the city, we were still in the suburbs for a good hour.
We're taking it a bit cruisy, not to speed during the town. There's a few sort of police and that around, and yeah, just got to keep it like in the streets and that, just keep it nice and easy, not going too stupid, and then wait to do all that stuff out in the open road where there's no one really to bother or run into. As we're heading out of town, not far out, I've been like this, going left and right, looking at all the different sort of things over the hedges and that, and I noticed on the right-hand side, as if there was trees that was planted perfectly apart and like corridors looking down as you're going past it. It's like, oh, there's something in there. And then that's where we ended up this morning, is the rubber tree plantation.
Yeah, I thought when we left there, just be like a boring little ride through the trees and stuff. Nothing too crazy, but yeah, we arrived there and it was sort of all real slippery, hard-packed, icy brown looking ground, and I was like, oh, this could get exciting. So me and Brownie took off. Yeah, we were slipping and sliding all over the shot. Yeah, it was really, really good fun. The tyres are dead slick, so really, really fun to ride on, and we were slipping and sliding out. And
As soon as there's a bit of dirt on the road, Chris Warwick, his heckles go up and he gets all excited. So Brownie and himself jumped on the bikes and they were riding through the plantation.
As soon as we get in there, we soon find out.
woo, bit out of control there.
It's just greasy as, like you can't use lower gears because it's just wheel spins, so you're kind of like being a bit taller on the gear selection. And yeah, no front brakes. As soon as you hit the front brake, you're just tucking and sliding. So we were going up the hill. That was pretty cool actually. It was like a bit of a single trail going through it, weaving in and out of the trees.
Fucking slippery as hell. Oh, it's just moss and there's just moss all over the ground. Front wheel drifting.
And then we get to the top part, and it's like kind of get a bit off camber, going lefts and right. And I noticed Chris, he was struggling. So if Chris is struggling, then I'm definitely going to be struggling. So he's got his legs out, like kind of left and right legs out, and just kind of tapping along. I've come into the corner, all hot, front end tucked in under like this, and then just, yeah, legs are out and trying to hold it straight. We found out, got to the end, and then Chris is like, how mad was that? It's like, oh, it was unreal. He goes, let's go down here, we'll find another spot. So he's like a junkie. He's just like, oh, I need more, I just need to get into it. And so we go down, and he goes, yeah, in there, Brownie.
There you go, Brownie, go.
Just in this other little track going off to the left, and this one was a bit wide. It was probably 1.5 meters, 2 meters wide in some sections, and it was just all polished. It had been raining. Went to put the power on, not heaps, and then the back end just started stepping out like this, and front and back wheel was just drifting down sideways like that.
Oh, there goes Brownie into the bush. Oh! Nearly done a 360. I'm nearly gonna run you over.
Slid out, and Chris he's cacking himself laughing. Yeah, that was hilarious. And I picked my bike up, and it's like my feet are on an ice skating rink. I'm just like,
Oh my god. Oh. This is too cold. Oh. Whoa, here we go again. And Brownie had a few fall-offs and had to save him one time there. He got his leg jammed under the bike and had to lift the bike up off him. Oh! And he was struggling to get up off the ground, and little does Ado know that we're just about to go and get him and make him ride through all this.
So I'm like trying to push the bike up, and I'm absolutely knackered by this time. Yeah, Chris, the Incredible Hulk, he comes up and just whoosh, picks the bike up like it's a toy, and then off we go again. And the same thing, we kept on going. We just had the training wheel legs out on either side, just all the way to the end of the track.
Brownie and Chris were determined to share the love and get Ado to have a run on these treacherous trails.
We're gonna go get Ado and just trick him into riding through here. Just say I splashed you and you had a big one. Just say I splashed you and you had a big one, because otherwise you'll chicken out.
Well, if you know Ado, you'll know that he doesn't chicken out of nothing. So you'll see how he went after this.
Oh, he's going down.
Welcome back to Blokesworld, where we're on the final day of our 5-day dirt bike ride through the central highlands of Vietnam with Lucky Bastard Motorcycle Tours. The guys have been playing in a rubber plantation. The historical significance of that hasn't escaped us, and the ground in there is as slippery as an ice rink as the professionals pressure Ado into giving it a crack.
We sort of pushed him a bit, you know, everyone's there, all the support crew and everything.
Dead set. It was kind of like trying to run across an ice hockey ring in sand shoes. The place was just slippery as, just slippery moss and everything.
So in he goes, me and Chris off we go, thinking that Ado's right behind us, and I went off, and I probably got about maybe 10 metres up the track, and I just lost it again, flat on my ass. Yeah. And then I turned around and I looked back, and here's Ado, he's flat on his ass, and he's only made it one tree in.
What's going on?
And then, yeah, Ado got up, and I respect, buddy, that was pretty hard conditions, and you got up and you went up all the way and then turned around and came back. So, yeah, I'm not sure if he stacked on the way coming back, but there would have been definitely a few hairy moments.
Oh, he's gone down.
That was pretty funny.
That was heaps funny. The whole episode will just be me and Brownie in there, I think.
Then we made our way down the range, and once we started doing that, going down the pass, you could really feel the temperature from the highlands increase and increase, and got hotter and hotter. And then it got to a section where we went to, must have been like a new forestry section. We could hear the sound of two bangers in the background. They were actually chainsaws. As soon as that happened, bang, it was on. Vietnam Maniacs. It was kind of like the Vietnam version of Romaniacs. Chris, Warwick, Brownie both went for a ride. Me being a ranger, I was in the shade.
Really, really steep hills, and they got their tracks cut in and that. And yes, all the land's been all cleared and that, as if it's been forest. And further down there's a part there where you can see like it's probably 2 or 3 years old. They're waiting for it to build up to cut it down. And so yeah, off we went down following the ridge line.
Yeah, me and Brownie sort of had a bit of a look around, went down for a bit of a ride of a nice single, and then we thought, oh, might try something a bit more challenging. And there was a big steep downhill sort of like ridge going down, and we're like, oh yeah, it looks alright. I reckon we might be able to do that. Seemed like a pretty cool idea at the time. I was all for it. And so we went across the ridge a bit, and then we was like, oh, looks a bit steep. It's a bit steep, you know, like we got slick tyres, like fully road tyres. And
the only way I can describe it is a ski slope, like a black run, diamond black run ski slope where it was just like this. And as you're looking at it from the side-on view, perspective of it, it looks like it kind of just tapered out in some parts. I went, oh, if we follow the ridge around, it'd be good. So Chris is going around, and then he's like, yeah, we'll be right. And I'm going, I don't know, man. I got to a point where I was like, nah, pulled the pin, and I just watched Chris go down. He was that steep actually that he went down, and it got to the point where I couldn't even see him where he was, if he was safe or not. It was like, nah. And then I had a moment just from the top where it wasn't that steep to try and get back up. But I was getting stuck in holes, and there was trees and all kinds of stuff there, and there wasn't much grip with the tyres. It was just not the knobby tyres that you'd want to have on a trail bike, but the road tyres. It struggled to get up the top of the hill.
Yeah, she was a bit sketchy, that's for sure. I had the engine turned off a couple of times there where I was wrong-footed, and and needed to weight the opposite peg, but couldn't because I needed to keep the foot on the brake. And so I just traversed down as best I could, and I got right down to the crevice in the hill, but there's like a massive water rut, and I was a bit worried about the bike and if there was a bit of a drop that I couldn't see, and just got myself in a big pickle. It was just a massive step off, about sheer, probably 14 foot. Like if it was on my bike, I'd probably have a go and just flat land it off and bottom everything out to buggery. But yeah, called the rescue team in.
Well, I rode down and then come to the part where he was. We had Toe, he come down as well too, and he was helping us out. Grabbed the front wheel. I was reaching up like this, and then, yeah, you're right. I said, yeah. And then the bike just let go, and then I'd done the full scorpion back, and I thought to myself, it was just going to be an avalanche coming down. But he's grabbed onto it, and he's like, you're right, mate. So then he jumped down, and we just feathered this bike down to the bottom, and yeah, Chris finally made it down to the bottom, and then we rode back to the top. Started cruising down the mountain from there, coming down to sea level. You could sort of come to a few rivers and that, or creeks, and you could sort of smell the salt water or the low tide sort of smell is what camera 3 always says. So we knew that we were getting closer to the beach. That was getting pretty exciting. A few more kamikaze moments where me and Ado had a few close calls on the road.
As soon as we get down the flat, that's when things start getting a bit crazy. You know, you got tourist buses coming at you, you got trucks coming at you. It can get a bit dicey. You know, you got to have your wits about you.
One time there was I think it was a bus or a truck coming towards us, and then we had no lane to go at all, so we're just out in the grass, just like hanging on, hoping that there wasn't going to be a concrete pillar or anything there. And we've done all right to get out of it.
Stick around for more Blokesworld after the break, when we're going to show you some of the other cool stuff we did off the bikes in Vietnam. Welcome back to Blokesworld in the Central Highlands of Vietnam. It's the final day of our ride, and we've come back down from the mountains to this awesome little beachside resort. So while we rest up, we're going to show you some of the things we did over in Ho Chi Minh City, which is still also known by its former name of Saigon. Now, this isn't going to be a history lesson, but we will show you some of the stuff that you can see here, starting with the War Remnants Museum, which was a short walk from our hotel and just a block over from the Independence Palace. Just behind me is the War Museum here, but as usual in Saigon, getting across the road is the challenge. So this could take a while.
I love all the history and the historical side of things, and love to learn a little bit about the history. Obviously the war not being a happy moment, but it's interesting to see a little bit about the history and what went on, and learn a little bit more than what I knew before. We got to see a lot of old American equipment. A bulldozer was probably our big favourite, I think. Being bike riders, you know, the earthworks machinery is always our favourite, I think.
Yeah, so this is a D7 that was used in the Vietnam War, weighs 40 tonnes. Hang on.
Some really cool jets there. I grew up a big jet fan, so it was pretty cool to see some nice jets there. And
we're walking around going, oh, check that plane, and camera 3 being an ex-Air Force, he's going, oh, that's above 30, and that's a 20. And we're going, oh, that's a green one, and that's a black one. We saw a great tinny there with a 50 count at the front. That was my favourite thing. Chuck a couple of fish finger stickers on that. That was a highlight of my day.
That is an M60 machine gun.
Yeah, I used to have one of these in Call of Duty 2.
Pretty cool to see a couple of old helicopters and a couple of big guns, and a lot of old pictures and from the Vietnamese side of things as well, which was really interesting to see. A tiger cage, sort of like trap prison.
Got to see a lot of the history in that and how they've gone through a lot, and I think it's a really good thing for everyone to kind of learn a bit about what did go on with the history of, back in the day.
And keeping with the theme, a bit later on we headed out to the Cu Chi tunnels. This is the actual location of a massive network of Viet Cong tunnels. Now, even though it's been turned into a tourist attraction, it's definitely still worth a visit if you're in Saigon, especially if you have a guide as awesome as the one that JJ lined up for us.
This is the, unlike in the past, because this is much newer, this is a new forest, because this area in the past covered by a jungle. Bombs. They drop bombs to kill Viet Cong. Yep. This area in Vietnam, you know how many tons of bomb drop whole country? Over 40 million tons of bomb drop here in this country. 1-4. About 40 million tons of bomb drop here. In this area, over 500,000 tons of bomb drop here to the Viet Cong. And bomb craters like this everywhere. So besides sending troops here, they can even send armor vehicles, like even tanks as well. And big mistake, because too heavy tanks, right? Always stuck, or they move too slow. That's too easy to be destroyed by Viet Cong, because they set landmine underneath. For example, this one, destroyed right here by landmine in 1970. This M41 tank, American tank.
What's that noise we hear in the background?
Shooting range.
Let's go.
Let's go. Not yet.
Oh, really?
Not that brush. We see something else.
All right.
Dawn's coming out.
All right.
I have to go there now, immediately.
Yeah, no, I'm cool. I'm learning stuff. Keen to shoot some stuff.
Viewers, I'm not going to make you wait like Ado had to, and we'll skip over the absolutely horrifying range of traps they showed us. And we'll also skip over the 40-metre tunnel section they let you crawl through as well, and we'll go straight to the shooting range. This is where you can fire weapons and ammunition still left over from the massive wartime stockpile. Now, Ado said when he was here a while back, it was a bit looser and they were a bit more relaxed about safety. Don't rest it, gotta go standing.
Oh no, it's bolted down.
Oh.
A lot's changed, mate, since I've been here last.
But these days, thanks to OH&S, they've bolted all the weapons down and they've got a really limited range of movement. Probably a good thing for travel insurance premiums, but it was a bit disappointing, and as you can see, it was a bit awkward for blokes of our height. Still, you can shoot all the wartime favourites, M16s, AK-47s, and Chris Warwick even had a squirt with an M60. And check it out, they even give you prizes if you manage to hit some targets. Or maybe I just got recruited, who knows? Anyway, we'll be back with more Blokesworld after this. Hey, it's no blue beret, but it's close.
Look at that. Well, I really hope you're enjoying the show, viewers, and guess what? We are going on a commercial break, but before we do, we've got this awesome 4-pack of sauces to give away from our great sponsors, Chili Mojo. Best place for you to get all your hot stuff and anything you need to make a crankin' Mexican party. Anyway, this week's winner is Peter Dalton, and he's from Gladesville in New South Wales. Congratulations, mate. We've got a prize pack coming out to you. And if you're wondering how do I enter these competitions, that's easy. You just buy something on blokesworld.com and we reward you with a prize if you win. See you after this.
We pulled up for a little bit. I think it was like a little drink stop and have a bit of a rest. But I couldn't help myself. I was like, Brownie, come on, let's go. Let's go back and hit one of those trails up.
It was like a line locked up. He just wanted to get out, and seeing these hills as we was coming into town, you know, the plantations were just vertical like this. And we went, oh yeah, we'll get up there. And then as we get closer and closer, it's just getting steeper and steeper and rockier and rockier. And as soon as I got into this little track, I've hit the foot pegs on either side of this rut, and I absolutely just went smashed my nuts up against the petrol tank, and I was just like, oh God, that hurt. Oh, here we go. I was in a bit of pain, I'm hurting. And then Chris got to this part where he's like near vertical up this rock, and as he stopped, it's like, oh good, I just got to stop here and adjust myself. I'm thinking, oh that's it Chris, we'll just turn around. He goes, no mate, we'll get up there, we'll get up there. I said, no. And the kid, you know, he's getting up on this ledge and these rocks. It was like he was at summer gnats. The back wheel was just like, whoa. He's positioning his legs in different areas. He would have been just like, I think he was in Erzberg. And he's just at the top of this ledge and he's just like, whoa, and smoke bellowing out for the wheel arches and just like going nuts. And then off he goes and he's like, he made it. He goes, come on, mate. I'm like, oh, don't know if I'm going to get up there. He goes, no, I got you. So he goes and parks his bike, and then here I am at the bottom of this rock face and thinking, all right. He goes, just give it all you got. I said, right, so I give it all I got, right? And here he is, the Incredible Hulk again, just grabbed the front wheel. I'm on the gas and just pulling me up this real rocky section. It's like a trials rider trying to get him over the rocks.
You know, you're a weapon, dude.
Got up there and it's like, far out, I can't believe we got up there. He goes, yeah, you're all right, mate. Just have trust in yourself and keep on going. So he kept on going and getting up, and I just watching Chris going in front of me, blah, 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 up he's going, and like, I just put my head down, away I go, going up and up and up, and then he got to the point where I was looking up and my peak of my helmet, I couldn't see where he was, and it was just like this, and he just kept on going on like a mountain goat. And then I stopped, I couldn't go any further, and here he got, a fair few metres in front of me.
Look at that view. Brilliant, isn't it? Sensational.
And then the harder part was turn around and come back again. So Chris just launched down like he was in a ski tube. Off he goes. And then I come down. I must admit I was pretty nervous.
Oh, Ado, I hope this gives you some good footage, because it's only going to end. I made it! Oh!
Still attached.
Well, that's it, viewers. We've all survived. We've all had a great time. It's been absolutely fantastic. Do yourself a favour, go on the web, look up Lucky Bastard Motorcycle Tours, send Jam Jar an email, tell her that you saw it on Blokesworld. She'll look after you. You can do exactly the same thing that we did. It's amazing. They'll tailor it to whatever level of riding you want to do, on and off road. It's absolutely fantastic.